GameStop says power to the players, but do they really mean power from the payer? What is up, friends and family? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Gary, the Card Father, and it's another rainy day here in Columbus, Ohio. And whoo, buddy, are we in for some crazy things happening in the last couple of days, in the last week in the Pokemon sphere? Let's crack right into it. As we discussed previously in a previous video, we talked about how GameStop was now beginning to accept graded trading cards, particularly they're focusing in the Pokemon world, right? Of graded trading cards, but they won't accept cards that are anything below a PSA 8, and they're not taking anything higher in value, market value per se, at $500. Well, we have kind of gotten more information as many people are out and about taking their cards into the selective areas that this new program from GameStop has rolled out to. They're taking their cards to these stores, and quite frankly, it's a mess and a half. I mean, everything is everywhere. There, you got people who don't know what they're doing, or they don't know the market, or they haven't been trained properly, but it's just an insanity. But I wanted to dive in to see what what GameStop has actually been starting to do here, because here's the thing. They finally got their website actually launched, and there are cards on the website. Now, you'll notice here as I show you a quick video that this is kind of weird. None of the cards are available for sale. Some of the cards say they're available for pre-order. Some of the cards just don't say anything at all. They don't even have a photo. It's just the label and PSA. And then when you click into actual photo, or of the actual photo into the actual listing, there's not a whole lot of information there. It just tells you whether the card's graded and where it's from and so forth and so on, what the price is. Now, I wanted to dive into a few of these cards with you today, and I wanted to see, well, let's take a look. Is GameStop really offering a fair price for these cards? You're going to be surprised. All right, let's jump in. Here we go. Okay, so the first card. Oh, and I want to preface this, by the way, before I move any further. I like to use price charting to show all of my cumulative eBay comps. I use eBay as well, but for this video, I'm using price charting. So if you're seeing anything and you're like, oh, that's not how it works, listen, it's an average total of things. Yes, it's going to get skewed. I know you should take the top 3 last sold listings and do all the comping, and that's fine. Okay, but let's just get a kind of a cumulative total. Price charting does a pretty good job. Okay, so let's get that out of the way for anybody who comments below, and I welcome you to please comment below. I love the engagement. I love to communicate with people. I love to have the community surrounding this. And because at the end, if you stay for the whole video, which I hope you do, you're going to find I'm not pretty pleased with this process. So anyway, price charting is what I'm using. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this first card. This is a Silver Tempest full art unknown PSA 10. It's an unknown V. It's the alternate art. It's a very lesser desirable card, but it's still not bad. I mean, it's a pretty card. I think it's one of the most underrated cards in the Silver Tempest lineup. But here it is. I mean, you see here that PSA's got this card listed as a PSA 10 for $126, right? $126. And if you look at price charting, if you take a look at what price charting's got it at, market value on this card and a PSA 10 is actually between $70 and $80. So if we look at the raw value, I mean, we're looking at $15, $20. But here's the thing. Price charting has it at $70, $80 roughly. I mean, it bounces, right? It goes back and forth. But GameStop has it at 126. Guys, that's a 57.5% price markup on these cards. On this one card, 57.5%. Okay. Maybe it's a fluke card. Maybe. All right, let's take a look at the next one. All right, here's the next one. This is a Silver Tempest, and there's a lot of Silver Tempest on this list. But this is a Silver Tempest Serena full art PSA 9. Okay. Market value would probably run here on price charting. It will run you right about $20. Okay. I've seen this card maybe go like 30. Sometimes it goes 35. $20 seems to be a good average. Raw, it's a $12 to $18 card, depending on where you buy it and how you get it. PSA, $70 for a PSA 9. Guys, that's a 250% markup. 250%. Yes, I'm telling you, I've done the math. It's not hard. It's 250% markup. A $20 graded PSA 9, not a PSA 10. If it was a PSA 10, we'd be closer to like $35, $40, $45, right? Maybe even $50, just if you get that one-off buy, right? But 250% markup.
Hey, what the funny?
This is brutal. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this next one. Here is Marnie. She's the full art from Sword and Shield actual base set. And I love this card. Everybody loves Marnie. Marnie's a favorite. PSA 9. Here's what GameStop has it as. GameStop says it's PSA 9 at $99. $99 seems like a good deal, right? PSA 9, Marnie, pretty sought after. Well, market value on that card, here it is, $40. Anywhere between 30 and 45 is where I was seeing comparable prices. 40 bucks. Okay, if raw, that card's 30 to 35. All right, so that's 147% markup. 147%. It's ridiculous. Okay, all right. Again, a fluke. Maybe a fluke. Maybe GameStop. Maybe they just forgot to turn on something in their software. Maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Here, let's take a look at this one. This is a Sun and Moon Black Star promo. This is a Pikachu Zekrom GX. This is a PSA 9. Now, this card, PSA has it listed for $70. Now, you'll notice here that this card actually has no photo, okay? And that seems to be the case here right now. Like, a lot of pictures aren't actually, like, syncing up on PSA's website. I'm sorry, GameStop's website. So, GameStop, what's going on there? Anyway, they have it marked at $70. Well, price charting, if you look at the comparables, $35 to $40. Raw's 2025. So, I mean, that's 100% markup, guys. 100% markup. All right, last one I want to look at, and you'll be surprised by this one too. This is an XY Black Star promo. This is the Full Art Venusaur EX. This is a PSA 9. Here it is. GameStop has got it listed at $269. $269. And if you look at market value, we're looking at $250. Now, the reason this surprises me is because this seems odd. This seems very odd, right? It's incredible to see that this is only a 7.5%, 7.6% markup, which is incredibly challenging to understand because there's some, I mean, this is a reasonable offer, right? But it's an incredible piece to this. And I don't understand, like, is it the more expensive the card gets, the more market that they want to sell? Are they buying this card in so far down? Are they thinking people are just going to look and see PSA 9 and PSA 10 and automatically assume the card is worth a lot more money, so they're just gonna skyrocket it up like that? To me, and this is some of my takeaways, but to me, it feels like what's happening here is like there are some people who will buy and sell cards, right? And they sell cards, all right, hot take here, they sell cards based on the graded perception price, right? I've seen that from a lot of sellers. I've seen that from a lot of buyers, but I've seen that more so from sellers who go and they go and buy a card, or they rip a card and they get it out of the pack and they put it in the sleeve, and they're eyeballing it as much as possible. They're like, ooh, this looks like, oh, it's perfect centering. Oh, not a flaw whatsoever. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they sell the card at the PSA 10 price. Why? Because it's a perceived grade. It's not a real grade. Nobody is literally taking that card and going, oh, that's a PSA 9, and they're not even there. It doesn't make sense. They're not selling it for the correct price, right? They're not selling it at the raw value or the pack fresh value of what you would receive the card at. Now, this is crazy to me because it seems like this is what PSA is doing. PSA is like preying, in my opinion, they're preying on the 9s and the 10s being higher in value than, say, the 8s. And the reason they're doing that is because they think that nobody, and they're probably pretty correct in this, because people just don't take the time to do what they should be doing. But anyway, PSA is preying on this fact that nobody's going to look it up. So here's a couple of the takeaways. Now, you've seen some videos already from some PokeTubers out there like Leonhardt or some other smaller name guys. I don't know a whole lot of smaller name guys because I'm still small myself, so I'm still just trying to build up my following. And Leonhardt, actually, he lives in Texas, and he took his cards. He took a mess of them, and some beautiful cards. Like, why would you sell some of those, dude? And he took them to his local GameStop in one of the local malls, and he filmed it. If you watch the video, and Leonhardt takes those cards, and the guy is giving him the prices, and at one point he goes behind the counter and he gets to see just a little bit of what's going on. And I can tell you there's a couple of surprising things here. One, my real job, I deal with, software, and I deal with streaming, and I deal with things like that, but I also deal with how integrations work and API work. So there's some kind of things to take from that. But like, I don't see this happening correctly. Like, I don't see how GameStop is getting their prices in, because if you looked at the video, if you looked at a couple of things, GameStop's actually linking into the PSA system. Like, they're finding that card through the QR code. It's scanning into the PSA database, and it's pulling the PSA database. So you're getting a pop numbers, and you're getting all of the sold listings and the comparable market value off of the PSA website. And I can tell you a lot of times PSA's website isn't always the most accurate either. It doesn't provide you always the best information. It's a good place to find info, but it's not always the best. But see, that's the thing. So let me, I'm going to pull back here. The issue here is I don't think GameStop is giving a fair shake. I think that they're buying cards in at 20 or 30%, which I can understand. Okay, whatever. You're a reseller. And if you're going to comment below, please do so. I love this. But if you're a reseller and you buy low and sell high, or in some cases you buy low and sell quickly, that's understandable. I totally understand the buy low process and then resell it to make a little bit of profit. But the ridiculousness of GameStop actually buying these in this low and then reselling them at this high, 250% increase seems a little drastic. Actually, it seems a lot drastic. It doesn't make sense. So it does. First and foremost, this doesn't really surprise me. I don't really think that this surprises me one bit. I knew GameStop was going to be doing something a little shady, in my opinion, here on this. I understand, again, that resellers have got to make money, and I understand that when you sell something to somebody, if they're going to go and resell it, they're going to have to get it at the lowest cost they can. But there's one thing to be said for marking something up 250%, especially if you're buying it in at 30% cost, right? It just doesn't make sense. And even if that was in trade value, right? If that's 30% in trade value, which I won't even get into that, but there's a whole lot of things. So this is my opinion here. And if you value that, great. If you don't, leave a comment, tell me you don't care, or you think my opinion's wrong. It doesn't make a difference. But as somebody who's in the market and works in this and tries very hard to understand it even more so and does his research, I have two thoughts to this. Either this is market manipulation, right? And when I say market manipulation, I also mean that it's business manipulation as well, right? Or this is predatory buying and selling. Plain and simple. They offer you an incredible buy rate at some cases because what ends up happening is they're going to mark it up 250%. So take this Marnie card, for example, okay? The market price on that card's $40. They're like, okay, hey, guess what? We're going to offer you $35 for it, which seems like an awesome deal for you in the market. But what's really going to happen is GameStop is going to turn that around and mark it up to $99. So what they're doing is they're actually gaining more on the markup than they would if they were just giving you that and selling it at market value, or even just slightly above market value, which I get. They're a big corporation. And this is my problem with the corporation stepping in this game, is because you're going to do a couple of different things, right? For me, the market value is going to crash. Like, they are literally going to crash the market. They're going to damage small businesses. They're going to take local card shops out of the picture because people are ignorant sometimes and they don't understand what they're doing. And you go to your local card shop for a reason, guys. You go to your local card shop for a reason. You can trust those people to know the market. Yes, they're there to make a profit, and yes, they have overhead and they have employees and they have everything, and they're doing their best. And one day, I really hope to get there. But here's the problem: they're inflating the prices, which is just a symptom of an inflated market. Right? And you look at all the full arts, and you look at all the gallery cards that are coming out. You look at all of Evolving Skies. You look at all these cards. They're inflated prices, and people are like, "Well, the market's healing," and people are gonna no, they're inflated prices. It's just a drastic thing of how our economy is right now as well. But it's also a justification. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, I understand times are tough, GameStop, and you're not doing so well, but really, bro? Seriously? Anyway, okay. So here's a couple questions I have, and then we'll get closing out here. What makes GameStop that they think they can do this, do it well? I don't know. Where are they going to getting their prices? I mean, honestly, I think it is from the PSA website. I think they're getting to pop. I don't think they're actually using any kind of eBay comp tools. I don't think they're using any kind of API calls to get that. And is their system really just broken at this point? Because it seems like when you've watched in other videos, there's only one place they're getting their data from, and it's potential that it's broken. Now, here's the end of this. I just still don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's worthy. I don't think it's right. And I really don't expect this to do well. There have been videos where people have gone in to get their cards traded into GameStop, even as like a test, just to see what's going on. Their employees aren't trained properly. They don't understand what they're looking for. Okay. They don't seem to get the right information when they need it. I've seen videos and have heard people tell me that they call their managers, and their managers have to walk them through the process, even though their managers have not even been fully trained yet, right? And they don't even know how that's going. They don't even, they can't even take PSA cards that have the older labels. Like, it has to have a QR code. They don't tell you that. That's not listed in any terms. That's not listed in right up front for you to understand. And they don't tell their employees that either. So not only are they jacking around buyers and they're jacking around sellers, but they're now jacking around local businesses, the local market, and their employees. I just don't think it makes sense. Plus, there are rumors that this is actually a PSA thing where they somehow hired somebody from PSA who left PSA and came over to GameStop, and this is kind of like a like corporate collaboration of sorts between PSA and GameStop. And that's kind of funny because it's PSA and eBay have done the same thing. Like they now have the eBay vaults that are out. So it's kind of, maybe this is a bigger market move, but I know GameStop's like failing. GameStop's having a hard time, and it's kind of crazy. But the thing is like, this is going to be bad. They are putting pressure on systems that don't need to be put pressured on. And in the end, they're going to kill the local card shop. And it's just not going to be good. They're going to crash some of the local market. What happens if these cards crash? What happens if these cards crash? What happens if the market falls enormously? I mean, what are you going to do, GameStop? What are you going to do? I still wouldn't trust it. I won't take my cards to GameStop. I won't even attempt to play the game. I personally don't think my collection deserves that kind of treatment. So I won't even go get my cards graded, because there's rumors that this is going to turn into something where you can take your cards to GameStop and GameStop will consign grade your cards like most other trusted local card shop dealers. Anyway, that's my take. So, hey, don't forget, as I close out this video, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. That's one of the most valuable things you could ever give me, and I am so grateful for that. But don't forget, Saturday, May 18th at 3 p.m., I am having my live stream giveaway, because you are all awesome. All of you who watch this content, all of you who have liked, who've commented, who've given me your approval that I'm doing a great job. Thank you so very much. And so I want to give back. I want to give something back. Actually, I'm giving quite a bit back. We're giving a lot. I got some Elite Trainer boxes, got some cards, we got some gifts. I'm going to be handing out a bunch of stuff. Come visit, come join me, come see me live on YouTube, 3 p.m., May 18th. And I can't wait. So click the link in the description, save the date, see you there. Hey, and just by the way, remember, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. Hey, don't forget to follow. Until next time.